I want to begin by asking all of you a question. What is your identity? What is it that determines how others perceive you when you walk in a room? Is it your hair, your demeanor, the clothes you wear? Well, what if what everyone saw was simply your ethnicity, and they got it wrong? I, Alexander Lowe, am the son of immigrants. I am a second-generation American. I am also an Asian, specifically Korean American. And as you all can see today, I stand before you as a student at St. John's Prep. But my life was never an easy ride to get where I am today. In fact, throughout most of my childhood, I struggled to find who I was and where I'd fit into society. Despite being born and raised here in America, there have been moments where I have felt too Korean. Growing up and being within a society that was mainly dominated by white people, I struggled to see diversity, struggled to see others who look just like me. And the same goes for the other half of my identity, in that there were times where I felt too American. When I would visit South Korea during the summertime, I realized that I didn't fit in completely with my Korean relatives. Their culture and the culture that I grew up in were totally different. And I was stuck between two worlds, struggling to answer and find the question of who I was. I remember the time when I was in 5th grade and one of my friends sat next to me during lunch. And he said, "Hey, Alex, you're the most whitest Asian I know. Did you know that? You are the most whitest Asian I know." What does that even mean? Rather than taking it as a compliment or an insult, I was just simply confused. Was I somehow behaving in a way that made me more white? Or was I still an Asian who just didn't act like the typical Asian person? Here was a friend who I'd known for 3 whole years, and after hearing just that phrase, he became the most enigmatic person to me. And that's not all. There was another aspect which further contributed to my identity crisis. But rather than being a specific moment, this was more of a general experience. It was the fact that I was always presumed to be either Chinese or Japanese. Nothing more and nothing less. And I thought to myself, well, why was this the case? Maybe it was because the culture of China and Japan were more mainstream here in America. Or it was due to the fact that the people around me weren't very knowledgeable and only knew 2 Asian countries. Nevertheless, I wondered why it was so hard. So hard for people to ask me the simple question of, "Hey, what type of Asian are you?" But the sad truth is, I fell victim to these experiences. Instead of speaking and standing up for myself, I let these voices, these quotes, and these discriminatory actions to get inside my head, to the point where I felt like I had to act white, and to act like someone other than who I already was. My voice was caged inside prison. It grew distant from the mere surface of my mouth, and far away from light. And I, just like my voice, became afraid of telling who I was, because if I had said that I was Korean, people around me would treat and view me differently. That is what I feared. But I knew that if things were hard for me here today in America, it would have been 10 times harder for my dad, Han Solo. And no, he is not the captain of the Millennium Falcon. But you see, my dad came over to the US by himself in the year of 1995. Without knowing any English and having no sort of close connection, he was challenged to find a brand new identity in a brand new world. And of course, it was tough for him. He had lived in a 1-room studio apartment and just barely survived off of the scant monthly allowance that was given to him by his parents. So you may be asking yourselves, well, with such little essentials, how was he able to succeed? Was it his determination and the fact that he was given an opportunity here in America? Well, yes, that is partly the reason, but it mainly has to do with perseverance. And where is he now? Well, today, my dad is a successful dentist who owns several practices across Massachusetts. and is even the head of the Korean Dental Association. You see, learning about my dad's story in the summer after 7th grade not only made me feel empowered, but I was able to understand the true meaning of perseverance. Perseverance is sticking to the path of determination and disregarding any obstacles that leads toward failure. And after hearing my dad's story, I realized that I had someone close to me who had gone through the similar experiences, and that I was never on this journey alone. Therefore, the greatest expedition of my life began, the search for who am I? That was the question I was longing to find an answer for, and I couldn't let my childhood circumstances be the extent and limit of my identity. So, from that summer leading into 8th grade, I tried to involve myself in areas that would allow me to grow and evolve, but staying familiar with what I already knew. Therefore, I participated in areas that I associated with, such as going to Korean church every Sunday, helping my mom cook Korean cuisines, and even FaceTiming my family in South Korea. I also began to take part in clubs and organizations that maybe weren't so diverse, so that I understood my true identity here in America. And what did I learn? Well, in the end, I learned that I could exist in both worlds. You see, there is no such thing as a fixed identity, but that is what I have constantly told myself to believe all throughout my childhood. Yet, these two worlds have come to accept me for who I am. But trust me, even today, even after learning all of this about myself, I am not the master of my identity. In fact, I'm just an ordinary 17-year-old boy who has some identities. I have many more years to come where I will find new ones and integrate them as a part of me. Therefore, I always tell myself that I am a fraction of what is yet to come. However, what I do know that is different about the Alex today and the Alex from 5th grade is that I have a voice to back me up now. So the next time someone would mistake me or call me for a different identity, I would correct whoever they were, so that they understood who I was and that what I spoke was coming from my true self. For underrepresented cultures, it is even more important to be proud of who you are. Focusing on the question like, how do I perceive myself to others, is not as important as understanding your true identity and your self-image. To understand who we are as a person will only reflect how we project ourselves to the real world. Therefore, through finally understanding who I was, I, Alexander Lowe, am proud to say and let other people know that I am a Korean American. Some of you may have found your identity at an early age, and others might have struggled just like I did. But in the end, what's important is how we come to value ourselves for who we are and what we are. So again, I want to ask all of you the question: what is your identity? Thank you.